Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Let's go, baby. Bitcoin. Countries are buying. Supply shot coming. Let's go. Hey, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Bitcoin taking a beat down. Looking like we're going to tumble down to 83,700. We'll take a look at what BOOKMAP is checking on. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. Let's get that music back up and running. Let's get it going. Shout out to my beautiful people. Hope you're living life, having a good time. I have a big meeting today, so right after the show, got the cufflinks on, ready to rock out. Let's go, baby. You know what I mean? Want to make sure we close these deals, baby. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in and appreciate you all for being here. So we got a big set of levels here down to $83,700, $83,650. That's where Bitcoin, sadly, is likely going to go. We've got two scenarios for Bitcoin, and it's looked pretty shifty for me. I've got this shoulder head, right shoulder cooking. I've also, it's inside of what looks to me like now a bit of a symmetrical triangle, right? This morning, it looked like we may get a break to the upside. It is what it is. You'll never, but lately it's been pretty sideways. Again, this looks like complete spaghetti. I'm going to delete all this. We're going to show you what's happening. But right now, because it may happen during my update, I mean, that's a symmetrical triangle. These have been known to break down 68% of the time. If you take a kind of sloppy look at it, you can see shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. It's got a head and shoulder vibe. Head and shoulders break down 68% of the time. Again, this is the 1 hour time frame. 20 hours ago, this was here. Then they did this dip. You could even say, some say, well, it looks like a diamond though, Sammy. And diamonds came in from the top. It should break out to the top. I'm with you on that idea. And I do see the diamond. I'm with the diamond, and so we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about, right? It's not a great diamond, but it has some diamond vibes. It has the essence of what a diamond would be. It's weird side shaped to the edge, but it could be kind of a slanted diagonal diamond. That's what I've learned about patterns. They're not always going to be the exact, plus and minus. Like if this is your axis here, and for being late, I'm going to cook today. I got a whole cool show to you. I'm going to show you how we use fractal magic on AAVE to figure out where Bitcoin was going to go, to call the bottom. I got such cool stuff to show you that's going to blow your mind. Things you have never seen in your life. You think you're coming here just a live trade and you need gains and you want to know. No. I have uncovered secrets of the market, secrets of the charts that no one else has ever seen. I can show these to you, but you got to actually care about it and want it. All right, so you got to be here. You got to put in the work, and I'll give you the knowledge, but you got to put in the time. All right. So we're going to, this is just what I see right now for Bitcoin. That's bearish. For me, I see bearishness. It looks more bearish than bullish to me because symmetrical triangles break to the downside on me. Whenever I've traded them and I've decided, I'll go 50-50, they've dumped on me. And even this looks like, so I see, look. I see a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. I see a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. And then I see a symmetrical triangle which wants to go back down, and then there's a gap in the VRVP, rejection of the point of control, right? Back down to 82,300. Some support, we lose that. You can see the next level is the high volume node and where there's a bunch of action. It's not this hard. This stuff isn't difficult. 79.5. If in 2 days you're at 79.5 or Monday, Tuesday, you can't be surprised. This looks like a Bart Simpson. And they'll BART us. It'll be a BART. It's been a while since we've seen a BART, right? But that's the Bart Simpson right there, right? I mean, eat my shorts, dude. Anyway, so there's a possible BART for me. We're seeing some stuff. Does that mean I'm bull? I still have a long open, and you're like, what? You just put your coffee out. Like, this guy just made the most bearish case, and he's long? What's wrong with him? He's sick in the mind. I'm going to show you what I trade, how I trade. We're going to break it down. All right. But right now, this does look bearish, and I may flip bearish. It doesn't look good to me. Today, this was supposed to, in the last 2 hours, where we're looking for this to break out, retest, and next thing you know, this flag was on its way, and we'd be on our way to do this, and then we'd break out of this and use this as support. And now you can see that we're dummy. Symmetrical triangles break to the downside 68% of the time. The measured move would be basically the base of this triangle and more. So we already could tell that we might be going to 83,300 now for Bitcoin. Again, I don't wake up knowing what's going to happen. I wake up, I look at price action, and I take it in. From there, I go from there. All right. So let's go to the weekly time frame and see what's happening here on the weekly. I always do my top-down analysis. Forgive me to the trading group. I did one this morning. Lately, I've been using, what I do is you stream as an output rate, but then you also record as an output rate, right? Inside of your Streamlabs or your Streamlabs OBS. And when I did that, when I streamed in that output rate, I have it so high that I can't upload it to Discord. So I got it, but YouTube will take it. So I send it to YouTube and then I put a link to Discord, which adds like 2 to 3 minutes for the update. And lo and behold, with all the stuff I do, we had a delivery today. I ran out of the room, forgot to grab that link and sent it to my group, which I probably have done that in the 5 years that I've run my trading group. I think there's been like 3 or 4 times I've forgotten to upload the morning update. No lie. So I apologize. I am a human, but again, and I did it too, which is kind of pissed, but no worries. It's been a pretty flat day. Thursdays aren't my favorite days, but there was a bit of a short there for Bitcoin. So this is still a falling wedge. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. 68% chance this could break to the upside. Low stochastic on the weekly tells me that, again, it doesn't say for sure, and maybe there's another low coming. I said this, if you remember, when we were right here, I said, we could probably come back down and hit 77.5 and we'd still be fine. I said, we might even go all the way back down to 74.5. I said, we'd still be in a falling wedge. That would still be the case here. So if Bitcoin decides to fake out, break out, and comes back in, to me, we could see a $73,800 Bitcoin. It could test this level here. Still be very bullish. If it breaks this and bearishly retests it, now you're kind of showing a head and shoulder pattern. You see? So in the next 3 weeks, and this is the same thing that happens on I'll watch the 5-minute time frame. Okay, the 5-minute will break out. It'll start to do this. Then I know that the 1 hour is likely going to continue, and then I'm looking at so a lot of days I'm watching the 1 hour. We have a huge pump in the candle, right? And I tell you to project, and then here's the 21. And we're only getting 1 or 2 candles here. And again, some days we've dumped all the way down. Some days we've gone sideways. And you're like, what's Sam doing with this nonsense and this And most people, some people can't figure it out no matter what. And you know what? It's kind of... As much as I want to I believe I can help every single person in the world learn how to trade. If my system was so simple, if trading was that easy, everyone would do it. It does take someone who needs a complex brain. And you can say, well... I believe you can cultivate a complex mind. I don't believe everyone wakes up, I'm not good at math. My whole life, I've always said I could do anything. I could have been a doctor. I could have been an artist, a painter, a landscaper, a contractor, an architect, right? Since I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and we all, right? I believed I could have been anything I put my mind to. The difference between that mentality that I had and the mentality that I see throughout the world is I never lost that. A lot of successful people, they don't lose their inner soul, man. Their inner soul, I believed I could do anything I want with my life. Remember when they tell you're a kid, you could be an astronaut? Everyone tells us we can be, because they tell us we could do something that just because we know there's only 5 people out of the billion people that get sent to the, So when you're a kid, to think that you could be one of those people, so they tell you could be an astronaut, to kind of you could be the president, you know what I mean? And the thing is, you could, because we never know. Someone right now that's being born is going to be a great person in 50 to 60 years, going to be the famous person. We don't know who it's going to be. Roll the dice, right? There's someone that's born today, and we're going to know them. Like when Tiger Woods was born, right? We didn't know he was going to become one of the greatest golfers in the world ever. I don't know. I'm just thinking of Tiger. I don't know where, but so, you know what I mean? Anyway, so Bitcoin could break out here on the 1 hour time frame. So some days I'm sitting on the 5-minute and I'm teaching you. So we're watching, let me get back to this example. So a lot of days we're on the 1 hour, we've had a huge pump. I draw a flag, okay? And I say, hey, we got to watch the flag. We want to catch the 21. I said, I don't know what's going to do. I said, it could come down or up. Then I zoom into the 5, and then the 5 minutes doing something like this. And then the 5-minute loses this, starts to drop. I know the 1 hour is going down to make the falling wedge likely. But the 5-minute breaks up and starts to do this. I know the 1 hour is more likely making the lateral wedge. So by using my small time frames, I don't even have to trade them. I can be ready. So what I do is I post up on a larger time frame, ready to take it. If the small time frame can mix confirmation, then I long the bigger time frame. If the small time frame, now some days I actually just trade the small time frame. I'm in and out, and I don't even care about the 1 hour. Now, if the day is really bullish and I like the volume, I'm trading the 1 hour with the entry on the 5 because, you know, that's a Tuesday, Wednesday thing. If the day's not that bullish and it's low volume, right? I'm either trading not at all, or if I can see some type of spike in a small time frame. You see what I mean? But the point is, or I'm using whatever that day has. Like Thursday has good volume up usually until like 2 o'clock. There could be, you know, so there still could be some movement here. The point is, I hope you got something out of that. That was like one of the most insightful videos I've ever made. And it really broke down like why, you know, so the idea is you create entries in your mind for the perfect trade. And you only take it when the price action, you know, because I've seen, think about it. I've watched price action and I've seen all the scenarios. Like I've watched falling wedges. I've watched thousands of them in my life. They do this. One of them, they usually kind of hang out and then break out. They usually make some type of inverted head and shoulder near the bottom. There's a bullish divvy, you know. We got the hidden bullish, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we do go to 72.3, maybe even we wick. We could even make a wick down to like 72.5, and that could be the last, and then we're gone, you know. Or they get really tight in here and they break down straight the base of the back. All right. It's like the two things that are going to happen here, you know. Or if you're in a bearish, a real like, you know, they kind of round out here and then you like, you know, you go into a bear market. This is unlikely based on Bitcoin's case right now. Like Bitcoin's either going to, you know, continue in some type of downtrend or it's reversing. Like I don't see it going sideways and we're not making it a multi-year bear market from here. I who knows? I'm open-minded. Maybe, you know, it's a possibility. But I firmly don't believe that. You know, fine, I deleted that, but then I'm back at it, right? So here's the deal. And bear with me, please. This is unbelievable information. Like you may not realize it at hand. See, when the famous mathematicians, when they were giving like their equations, everyone didn't listen to them. It was only after they were gone, well, people, and I'm not trying to say, oh, look at you. What I am trying to say, there's just some things I'm teaching you that I'm telling you right now that if you may want to tune off right now because you're like, I'm not getting what I desired. I came here for this. He's not telling me what I thought I wanted right now. I want the coin. I want the trade. He's not showing me a live trade. He's not, you know, I'm out, right? But I'm giving you some knowledge that you'll have for the rest of your life that's going to change the way you think. So right now, we got to watch the weekly just like we watched the 1 minute and the 5 minute, just like I told you before. All right. The weekly, really, we really want to see a weekly candle close above these two candles. It's crucial. Like this is stuff that really has to happen here. You get a close above 86,000. Very, very crucial. Like that's what we're looking for. A close somewhere right there above 86,180, you know. Bang. And we've already gotten rejected by it on the weekly. And that candle that's a bearish hammer. All right. Even if it closes green, it's a bearish hammer. You can see it's got more wick to the upside than to the downside. So if it was a game of tug of war, you know, and these are the bulls. The bulls are closer to being pulled into the hole or being pulled all the way. You know, this candle could flip red as far as I'm concerned, and may even come back inside the pattern and dump all the way back to 78,000. Like it's not strong. It's not a strong candle at the moment. It was strong, right? And so we've got ourselves a bit of an issue here. You know, the weekly is showing weakness. You can't lie to yourself. If you say it's strong, then you know. The 5-day had a bullish engulfing candle by a slither, which is great. We really got to see something happen here in the next 2 days. 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is low volume, you know, but Bitcoin's got to show us something. The bulls must break back above these key levels. In the next 3 days and 10 hours, this candle closes. It's got to close back above 86.5. If you don't, there's just high likelihood this is a fake out. You're going back down to the bottom of this pattern. You're retesting some key levels. You know, this says you already broke out. Look how tight it was. Like, there's really no more place to even get inside, but you still could come back down here somewhere to 76.6, and I can see the levels. We lose 76.6, 76.5 at 72,000. Let's go to the 3-day chart. 3-day chart doing the same thing, but 3-day chart's got this double bottom. That's just beautiful. These break up 68. This is giving me hope that there's going to be a move to 97.5, 96,000, and then we'll go from there. Nice consolidation. Blast on out, and we can just, you know, stop the nonsense. They won't let the market make that move. They got the market in a standstill right now. You can feel it. You can feel the suppression. You can feel the price action. It's like, you know, it's the greatest asset in the world. You know, when anyone else is in fear and they're not sure what to do, yeah, gold's great, but you can't take it anywhere. You can't get it out of your country. You can't fly with it. You can't do a dang thing with it. I love gold. I've been a proponent of gold for a long time. If I wasn't into gold, I wouldn't need to be into Bitcoin. Bitcoin got me into gold. But get it up, fine. Have some gold. I'm not saying don't. Have some gold in the portfolio. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as such. But hey, I do. Keep 5%. Keep 4%. Hey, keep 10% of your net. Whatever. Keep 30% if that's what you want to do. I think that's the worst thing you could ever do. But hey, unless it's producing you cash flow, which I have a way of doing, which I'm going to teach you next week of how to produce cash flow from your gold. It's going to be, I got so many cool things coming your way in 2025. It's going to blow your mind. And this $84,000 is precarious, isn't it? Remember, I bought my Bitcoin there a month ago now. It'll be 5 weeks this Saturday. And I thought by then everyone was going to know whether I was up or down. Like, I thought 5 weeks from then, everyone was going to be like, oh, he made it or he didn't. You told me 5 weeks from now, I'd still be at 84,000. I would have told you, are you serious? I went out of my, because you take a huge shot like that and you want to at least get cut, punched in the gut and know that you got hit and DCA into the lows. Or you want to see that you won, right? It's crazy when you take a huge shot like that and you're back at break even months later, weeks later, and you're just like, it's kind of stunning to me a bit. I threw down like a man. I threw down in the fear after when the fear was at 10. You know what I mean? The market was horrible. Everything was down in here. There was nastiness, and I'm throwing down. And I still haven't been rewarded for buying in the fear when everyone else was freaking out. Again, the market will reward you when it's ready, not when you're ready. And that's what I've learned too. And the patience I have to have now. The patience Bitcoin has taught me. Look how long I had to wait 5 weeks. My 84,000 still flat Toshis. Again, someone says, oh, you could have traded it. It could have been in risk too. I have a Bitcoin guaranteed. There's other people that are trading. They've made more. And I've leveraged. I've done other trades with other money. I'm just talking about one section of the pot here. But, it's like, come on, Bitcoin. And now the 3-day chart has had a long time. It's had bullish divergence. It's came from the bottom to the top of the Stokes, and it's really hasn't produced like, that's not what I've learned about stochastics RSI is, see, when you're bullish, here you're below the dotted line on the stochastics. I want you to zero in on the stochastics RSI. You're below the dotted line here. As you cruise back up above the dotted line, look how much movement price had. And I like to do this myself. I always take this and you can see, so the 3-day chart, when it went from the lows to the highs, and see the highs here, and then it really got up there around here before it started to come down again. But I mean, a 79% increase from dotted line to dotted line. And then you say, where's the next time we went from dotted line to dotted line? That was about right here to right there. It ended about, you can say that rally ended somewhere about right there. And huge increase yet again. I mean, but then you can see we started to struggle. And this is how you can tell, when you're struggling. You can just say, well, we went from dotted line to almost dotted line number one and only went up 25. Then we went from dotted line to dotted line on the Stokes there. And you can see it was just nowhere near the movement we got. So whenever I'm in a trade, all right, even on the 1 hour time frame, and I'll be watching price go up, come down. I'll watch the stochastics RSI right here. Say this is like my example, and they'll come up, they'll come down. All right. Then price will come up and come down, and price, stochastics will follow it. And then I'll notice that the stochastics will go all the way down again, but the movement will be very small for price action. And that tells me that there's it's building momentum. See, by using price and stochastic, and I'm using them for over 15 years now, and understanding their relationship, I can see when there's a subtle difference. See, this was a bigger move. This was a big move. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, dotted line to dotted line didn't give me as much as it did last time. What's happening? What's going on? And so, you can speculate. And again, this is like a highly sensitive subconscious radar in your mind, when you dial into this. But what I'm trying to teach you is the more you dial in, the more you'll be dialed in. Bitcoin dumping nastily 83,800 for BTC. But so all I'm saying is right now, the 3-day chart looks bearish. because from dotted line to dotted line, we've made a beautiful move. And we haven't even, like, it started nice. The last 6-7 days, it's been fizzling out. And if that candle closes as such in 1 day and 10 hours, that's a bearish candle close right there. And I will have to flip, honestly, from looking at this as a double bottom to kind of saying, well, there's a shoulder head, kind of right shoulder cooking here. And it's a variation of it. I've been seeing some variations of the old trades. I don't know if they're playing games, but and my mind's been able to kind of, innovate into a new idea, but still take that traditional structure. And I'm able to see something in there. So let's go to the daily time frame, flip on these moving averages. The bully bands are getting tight, but they're not as tight as you like, but they're tighter. Shout out to John Bullinger out there, my man. So I would normally say, that's a nice bull flag. And it is, you've had sideways price action on the daily after a pump. You pumped up, you've gone sideways. You've stayed above the 200 MA. You have had a death cross there too. Some say, put this up and just say, no, you've never left the channel. I got to say, you did leave the channel. You're just coasting on top of this rail. The key is, if you break a daily candle inside of here, I got to start assuming we're coming back down to the bottom of the pattern at 74,000. We could still come up here and break on out, I see also the forming of a possible inverted head and shoulder here. Make a right shoulder. We're having trouble with the point of control, but look, we have a beautiful gap in the VRVP. So the daily keeps calling my name. It keeps saying, hey, these wicks, not a fan of. That's a lot of wickage. Whenever I've seen a lot of wickage like that, it's usually not a great sign. You want wickage to the upside. We've got wickage on both sides, but it's a lot stronger from the top. You can see there's some sell pressure up there. The algorithm is battling us. It's a extreme resistance. You've got to get back above 87,000. Resistance, 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 resistance. You fell below. That was the spike right there. Resistance. Spiked up again. Here, you couldn't even get further up to that point. So you can clearly see that we've got lower highs there. We've got to break out. We've got to break out. The other thing that I've pointed out that I've seen one or two other traders see, and I saw it on my own, and I just saw, but that's a broadening falling wedge. They break out like the previous length of your pole, and that looks like you could break out somewhere to about 92,700 for Bitcoin. Like, I like what, so these are some bullish signs. Like, I'm being honest. Like, if I saw this on a coin, I'd say, well, and I'd say, you know what, I would short if the daily breaks below the 21, and, we'll fall back inside this pattern, or maybe we're making the right shoulder and we're just kind of hanging out there. They could have played a game here and make it seem like they're going to break in and break back inside. That would be a great move for them. They'd get a lot of people to short up here. They'd create a massive amount of liquidity. If they break inside this pattern for a second, they'll get everyone and their mother to short this POC and this level, and they'll all put, levels here. They'll rip this back up to the upside, and they will shred all those shorts. It'll be, and that could be a huge candle, which could drag, because we need this 50 to curve up, and we want to see a golden cross somewhere by May 3rd. I'm already kind of preemptively I'd like to see a golden cross, or I'd like to see Bitcoin coming. If Bitcoin's not coming into a golden cross, or what I did is this is the 50 day. That's the 20, the 200, the red and the yellow. The yellow is the 200. The 50 is the red is the 50. If the 50 is not curving up towards the 200 MA, somewhere I would say, like, let me see like you can just, because I see how this stuff moves. I don't know, somewhere by May 2nd. If I don't see this, and we're kind of like, and we stay below it, and we keep doing that, I mean, we're basically going to be playing down here. So in the next, I'd say in the next week, we're not on our way breaking out of here and retesting this key level. We're so a week from now, if Bitcoin personally isn't playing up in here, it's going to spend a lot more time down in here. Right. And so in the next like 3 or 4 days, you can, and I've done this before, where like 3 or 4 days really determine the rest of the market. So whatever happens here determines what happens there. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then that will actually spread into the next few weeks. So the next, I'd say 5 to 7 days are crucial for Bitcoin more than ever. Like, you know, some days you're already above a key level, you're just dancing, and it's crucial timing, of course, but like, this is like, you know, because this will have huge implications on the rest of the market for like weeks to come. I can't wait to show you how I extrapolated the fractal from AAVE to figure out where the bottom was for Bitcoin back in the day. It's just, and if you can ever pick up what I'm putting down here later on today, and that's something that I'm going to show at about 11:15 if you're excited, maybe 11:20. We're not exact, you know, somewhere in that course of time. We can't pinpoint it because we got to keep you on your toes. All right, but stay tuned for that. That's going to blow your mind. Okay. Again, I have no idea where Bitcoin's going to go. I never tell someone it's going down to 71, then it's coming back up. I don't do that stuff. I have no clue where Bitcoin will go. Because if I started doing that stuff, I would miss what was right in front of me. If I tell myself I know nothing but the fact of it, see, I'm a warrior. I'm a trade warrior. And I look at trading just like you're in a state of war. Someone is attempted to take my money, man. That's how I feed my kids and my wife. That's how I give ourselves. So they're trying to take my family out of the game. They're trying to take my generational wealth from me, okay? And I'm attempting to build generational wealth from them. It's a pretty crazy battle, right? And they're the top 1%. So why would they give me any legs up? And they don't. So it's a battle. If I told myself in war what was going to happen to me, I would probably get taken out pretty fast. But if I said I wasn't sure anything could happen, there could be, a mine I step on. There could be a guy from behind. There could be a sniper. If you just say, no way, it's going to come from behind for sure. That's like saying Bitcoin's going to go down here, then it's going to go up here, and then it's going to do that. So anytime you start telling yourself what Bitcoin's going to do, you've lost the mark pretty much. Every time you tell yourself, I know nothing but the fact about ignorance, and say it over and over again. So you repeat it to the point of no return. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. I know nothing but the fact, and I'll continue to build on the information presented to me, one step, one moment, one day at a time. See, if Bitcoin starts to rip, I'm going to be in it and I'm going to make the gains. And everyone's like, how did he do it? And everyone's going to think I'm so accurate that I just open up 2 trades every time and only show the winner. It's just like I don't do that. My trading group knows I don't do that. They see my losses, they see my wins. I just stay committed to my regime. So let's move to the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to show you 2 things that are going to blow your mind. So one thing I see here is a shoulder, head, and shoulder on the 22. The 22 looks cool. When these get tight, you tend to pump up to the 200 MA. I've seen it many, many times. I wouldn't be surprised if I see it again. This has head and shoulder written on it. You see shoulder, head, right shoulder, overbought, 21 curving up. So we need to defy this dump, technically, is what has to happen. You can see we're getting kind of tight. Again, tightness to the 200 MA. I've seen it many, many times. 8 hours starting to look interesting to me. Last night I said this could be a right shoulder. We need to watch out for the dump. It didn't happen. All right. 21's touching. Stochastics are good enough. Lack of bearish momentum in the MACD. This makes me want a long. So shoulder, head, right shoulder. So again, I've got mixed signals in the market. You can see clearly, right? I got a few things that are pushing bear, a few things that are pushing long, and it's in the middle. And I've seen it go both ways a few hundred times either side. So I have a lot of data that suggests that it can go either way. I've seen it. I know it, right? Some days the data says no, it goes up mostly this time. Other time and when I look at this closely, you have to start envisioning some type of head and shoulder here, and then you have to start saying, well, there's the measured move, and you have to start saying, well, that would put us back inside the pattern. See, I've already built 1,000 chess moves either way, so I'm ready for each thing that happens. I'll be ready to scalp these scalps if it happens above the 200 MA. I have a plan for that. You know what I mean? That my head is already mapped out on what to do there. I'll find a bear flag here. We'll take it down. We'll look for a head and shoulder here. Some type of M pattern. My brain already knows how to make money here. Just show me the direction Bitcoin take us. You know, right now, anything you do is high risk because you haven't, you know, up here would be the retest, you'd get in, down here would be the you get out, you know. So my trader instinct, like if I had to go through my Rolodex of like psychic look, you know what I mean? And it's right now, it's telling me it looks like there's a move to the upside, but they're building a downside look, like they're making it look bearish, but they're going to flatten the shorts. But again, I always like that. I'm more bullish than Bitcoin. So it also, I got to tell myself, is that your bullish bias, Sam? Because you own Bitcoin and you love Bitcoin. And I even if I said no, I mean, let's be honest, the human mind is going to help survive what it has. Amen. Amen. Like I have Bitcoin. I'm going to, no matter how much I try to twist it, my subconscious is going to put it into good lights. So for me, I got to be real with myself and not my overall thesis. I believe they're going to continue to print money. I mean, this has kind of like a double shoulder action going here. This is a symmetrical triangle. They break down. I do have a golden cross coming on the 4-hour. I have bullish divergence on the indicator. A bit of like a shoulder, head and shoulder there. This is kind of flipping up. Let's just take a look at the stochastic, zero it in real fast. And what I'm doing is I mean, that looks bullish to me on the 4-hour time frame. So I just want to let you know. And again, in a second, I'm going to tell you what I've done. And if you haven't watched my channel or you don't know, you're like, is he long or short? Wouldn't you like to know? All right. Put a question mark if you want to know if I'm long or short. Or if you just, you know, put it 2 if you don't care. I love when people write 222. But put a question mark if you want to know if I'm long or short here on the markets. And let's get the likes up to the watches hour. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So let's look at this really closely. I'm a 200 MA trader. I've been in a trade on week since right here. I got into the trade here. It was looking pretty bullish. It was looking like we were making a flag, and you know, I wanted to see us kind of bounce. So right when we kind of bounced up here, I saw us inside this flag. I got into the trade somewhere around here. Okay, because it looked like we were going to break out. I was in the trade. I was actually up. Things are going well. We came back down. They almost got me out of the trade. They did not. I'm still in this trade on weeks. I've been in these weeks trades for a long, long time. Okay. And I'm still in them. Why am I still in the trade? Because if we don't definitively break the 200 MA on the 4-hour time frame, I just can't listen to a bear. Now, I see this as a head and shoulder. I saw this as a head and shoulder, and it's very rare for me not to take a head and shoulder. You have to understand, my subconscious mind told me, it said, Sam, I've done the data. See, your mind is AI, and if you give it enough data, it will become a great AI. Your mind, I mean, they said there's more connections to your brain than stars in the sky, right? We are infinite beings with amazing minds, man. The human mind is unbelievable. Like if you give it the right sleep, if you work out, if you eat the right foods, and if you believe in yourself and manifest, I mean, you can even do what's called neuroplasticity, the reticular activation system. By using your reticular activation system, you're able to actually draw in your reality and create a manifestation of the world in which you want to live in. Amen? Amen. So, right? So look, there was a head and shoulder here that had me sketched out. And I was like, this isn't good. I was like, right. When I saw that, like, that could dump. But I said, I'm going to stay long as we stay above the 200 MA. And you can see I'm long on, I think, three now with all my stop losses on below these wicks here. Yes, there's a chance I get stopped out. And when I do, I'd love to show you the losses. I can't wait. And it looks sketchy. Look, shoulder, head, right. It looks like I'm probably going to lose these trades. It doesn't look amazing, but see, what I'm doing now is what I should have been doing my whole life, you know, is I'm sticking to, like, my model is if you're above the 200, we win. And I'd be like, well, why are you doing this, Sam? And I'd say, well, I'm just following the math. All right, we're going to get to the 1 hour in a second. And you probably could have got, if you shorted right now in a split second, they rocked you right back up. And by me not even showing a trade right now, is I saved every one of my people watching the stream from getting rocked. Trust me, when I talk in length, it's because I'm distracting you from the market because I know the market's sketchy at that moment. I'm subconsciously, using everything around us to keep us tuned in. That doesn't mean someone couldn't scalp on the smaller time frames, and that's coming. We're going to look at that. Trust me. We have 2 hours. All right. We've got time. Sometimes I only have time to, to teach you the big important pictures. Some days I want to teach you big important things, and I'm on the 1 minute, I'm on the small time frames the entire stream, right? It's happened to us. This stream is really more learning intensive. So yeah, I see some, shoulder head. I see a lot of bearishness. But until we lose the 200 MA on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, I must remain more bullish than bearish, as strange as that sounds. And you'd be like, well, why? Well, let's go to the Dow Jones. Let's do a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, okay? Let's look at this Dow. Let's look at the Dow. And let's look at the Dow in the 4 hour time frame. All right. Let's go check like the last 6 times it got above the 4 hour 200 MA, and let's just see what happened. So all I do is based off data. I don't do anything stupid. I do what the charts tell me to do. Now look, shoulder, head, right shoulder. Look, Sammy Cup and Handy. You understand why they call me Sammy Cup and Handy? Look, but we broke above the 200 MA. Tight moving averages, right? High volume node on the POC. The MACD showed it was turning. The stochastics were low. I teach my students this. I teach this in class. I'm going to change the way you look at the markets. You're going to be able to see the markets as a place to win. Look, shoulder, head, right shoulder. Of course we were going to break to the downside. The 21 was away from the 200. I teach my students not to buy then. The MACD was high. There was bearish divergence. Anyway, that's class right there. I just gave you a class. So anyway, huge move when we got above the 4 hour 200, right? Okay, here was a nothing burger. There was a nothing burger. Here we got above the 4 hour, huge move again. So 2 out of 4 times it was huge. The other 2 times, at least if you move your stop to break even, or maybe you scalped a little bit, you got some gains. Again, short when we close below, massive gains on that short, but whatever, we're doing longs only. So remember, we're 4 for 4 on wins, but 2 were bigger. 5 for 5, and that's a pretty nice sweep. I even like bounces, but you don't, that's, again, I've called those, say this legendary if you buy the bounce. We did that in the 15 minute, but this is equated to the 4 hour on the Dow. We did this in the 15 minute. If you remember 10 days ago when I was staying in my mom's house, God rest her soul. Again, there's another beautiful bounce on the 4 hour. I've seen this stuff for years. That's why I know it works. And I've traded it. I've already thrown my hat in the ring on a live stream in front of the world and called out these longs like multiple times, and I've made it through. Bang, we got above, huge move. If you could hold on, I usually keep my stop a little lower sometimes because I know they might fiddle. Here's another one. They did this. I love these. If they can flag you out above the 200, you're likely even more. And this is kind of where we are for Bitcoin right now. We're in a very similar stage right here. We had this bottom. Now we're kind of flagging out. It looks head and shoulder-esque. Wow, this almost looks like what Bitcoin's doing right now. I'm going to grab a fractal here and just take a look. This is kind of funny. How do you grab a fractal? You grab what's called Boz pattern. You see, and you hit Control C. And then when you go to the other asset, you should be able to paste it over, right? But it just looks very it's weird, right? Looks very similar to me, and a very, very weird. The 200 is very close to as well. It's almost like this same path. I don't know. It's very odd. If we crunch it in, those are those 2 hills right there. You see it? It's very weird. It's almost identical, but. And the 200 MA is right below it on the 4 hour time frame. Let's go back to the Dow, right? The 200 MA is right below it on the 4 hour time frame. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what to tell you. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just pointing out why I'm long, and because it doesn't make sense why I'm long. Head and shoulder. It looks. Here's another one. You get above the 4 hours. So now are you now convinced? So so this is just a Dow. You want me to do? I could go give you we could go look at Japanese yen. All right, I'll do whatever you want. Let's look at the Japanese yen versus the dollar. And look when the 4 hour got above the 200, right there. I mean, had you gotten in on a flag of such, had you traded this flag, like, I'm giving you gold to change your life for the rest of your life. Like, here again, like, had you gotten in here, like, again, and had you gotten in there, look, 1, 2, the last 3 times on the Japanese, and the last time it did it here, this is all you could literally trade the 4-hour for the rest of your life in the 200 MA and stop trading anything else and stop playing games. Look, the Japanese yen's about to bang on the dollar right now. So if you're a Forex trader, like, I see a beautiful trade here. You know, Japanese yen to the upside, very likely. Stop below previous support as resistance. There's a few pips. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice, but hold me to this. That's a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. I'd like to get a little better, but hey, it's a 2.21. We could shave. Hey, 2.63. Almost, you know. Try me on this one. See if this breaks out. A little bit, it's a little bit of bearish divvy there, but lack of bearish momentum with the MACD. There's a high volume node there we broke through. There's some good odds here we break to the value area highs for the Japanese yen. So, you know, I'm a clinic teacher. I will flip the charts for you in a way you've never thought, and I'll back it up with action, historical data, and multiple assets that will blow your mind. Like, this is a channel that will just make you realize that you can do this too, that it's all there for you, that it's just, you just got to push yourself and want it more than everybody else. You've got to scan the markets. You got to want the charts. You can let AI do this all for you, but you'll never know what's happening and you won't be a master. I'd rather be a master of my craft. I'd rather be on point in all ways and facets. So nobody can tell me different. Like, they can't come in and just walk around and start talking. So I watch anyone under the strategy and I look at it and I know I could chop through it. I know I understand it. And I'm not the best. There's someone better than me. There always is. But are they more consistent, more disciplined? I don't think so. I don't think so. I will show up more than anybody else in this entire market. I already proven myself. No other channel has shown up no matter what. Hurricanes. My mom and dad died. I had 2 babies. I moved 3 times. I never missed a show. I flew to different places. I went to events. No, it didn't matter where I was or what I did. I came to my obligations of this show because I love what I do, and I would never put anything in front of this community that I built. Wow. Whenever I see a YouTuber take a week off, 3 weeks off, I'm like, you built a beautiful community. That's like letting a garden sit and not watering it. Like, you gotta water your community daily. Shower your community with love. If you want love showered on you. So Japanese yen looks interesting again. Every time it broke above the 4 hours. So again, does this mean that, again, it could be a slump here and then we could dump? Bitcoin could be doing something like this. And it doesn't mean I'm going to win this trade, and it doesn't mean I'm a genius. All right. I'm just trying to teach you some things about what's happening here. So at the end of the day, when you get into lower volume situations where the market's iffy, you want to zoom out. You want to take a deep breath. And for me, it's not about staring at the screen all day long. And I guess, yes, this can be boring. Okay, I've opened up a 4-hour trade. I've been in it since, let's say, look, since Monday on the 14th. You know, been 4 or 5 days now. Like, yes, that feels boring to watch, but again, I'm not stopped out. What's not boring is I'm still at the, like, you know, when you're playing craps, I'm still at the craps table. I still have my chips there. Like, I haven't been liquidated. I haven't, you know, or I wouldn't, but I haven't been stopped out. I haven't even lost my roll yet. I haven't hit my number, but I still got 6 and 8 out. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just doing my thing. And we're going to make it. I know there's opportunity in this market. And if the second we lose this, we did it there, but hey, I didn't get stopped out. I knew how to kind of stay a little sweet. I learned my lessons a few times now. So to me, this is a symmetrical triangle. They mainly break down, and I see a shoulder, head, right shoulder. Before I played the 200 MA, this would be a short for me 100%. Now, someone who's not as bullishly stubborn as me may benefit from a head short like this. Entry around here, stop loss, right? Above that wick, you know, and see if the, you know, and so if it does dump, you're covered. And what I do when I do this is then you do a scalp to the upside. You could get stopped out both times, but if you're very careful on the scalp and you gotta be at your computer and staring at it, and you use the small time frame for a bounce, and you do get the bounce. Even what I can even do sometimes is this, is I'll play this bounce here. I'll get out, in and out right there, right? That's enough to pay for the stop loss. And now if we rip, I just keep trading bullishly and forget about it, and they'll take me out. Okay, but I was covered. If it's a fake out or something happens, it starts to get nasty, I still got this puppy open. And then not only do I make the money on this little scalp, but this will hold me down, all right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. That's a, you know, we call that going short and long. At the same exact time, again, you could get stopped out both ways and lose both trades. Unless you're precise. For me to do that, I gotta be like, you know, have the 5-minute open. I'm at my screen, I'm setting alerts. I'm like, really, there's like a 3 to 4 to 5 hour period where I'm honing in on the 5-minute for the absolute best entry I can find. All right. Look, there's even an M pattern here. They're either inducing shorts like I can't believe. Like someone is making a short pattern, but because I see the 50 coming to the, that tells me to be careful. That tells me it may not be the head and shoulder that you want. Just like if I saw an inverted head and shoulder, but I saw the 50 coming deadly for the 200 MA, I'm like, I'd almost look shoulder. Look at this. And flipping the chart upside down is important. Flipping the chart upside down gives you some key insight that you can't normally see. I mean, look at this. If we really look at it too, there's some kind of like shoulder kind of head. Almost looks like you could dump. And it looks like it's in a downtrend here. Look at this. I never even saw this. I see something really wacky that I haven't seen before. Oh my gosh, I see something strange. I'll do it on another chart clean. But I just saw something. I can't wait to show you this. I just saw something really weird. Hold on. BTC, USD. I'll look at like MACD. What time frame was I just on there? The 4-hour time frame, right? I love that update that I gave there. It was so simple, you know. And I flipped the chart upside down. Oh yeah, and I'm like, this is crazy to me, but I mean, it looks very descending triangle-esque. Looks kind of double bottomy too, or double toppy, right? So like Bitcoin's screwed. Like we're about to dump so hard. Like look at Bitcoin. It doesn't look good at all, right? Bearish divs across the board, right? Like doesn't look good to me. And guess what, everybody? I'm upside down, right? I didn't see this till right now. I didn't see this pattern, right? It's the first time I'm looking at it. But I didn't even notice it until I flipped the chart upside down. It's interesting because your mind may want to see things a certain way. I never saw it. This is the first time I'm even addressing this type of look. And so like Bitcoin may just get tight in here. And they may get a bunch of people to short this head and shoulder. And boom, man. And all they need to do is bring it down a little bit. Oh my God, they will get them to go so crazy. If they bring this down just a little bit, the shorts will pile in here and then they will become exit liquidity for the move to 97,000. We already want to get there, but we could get there better if we got the shorts involved. They could help us climb the ladder, right? So what am I doing? What is my idea? What is my plan? After all the analysis I just did for a whole hour of yapping and gapping, what am I doing here for BTC? What is going on? All right. Well, we have resistance right here. And as crazy as this sounds, I'm just long with a stop like right around here. And the measured move would be like the length of this pole. And I'd be able to catch a ride somewhere to like 92,000. I'll probably skip out at about 88, 88.5 because there'll probably be a nice projection there. We'll be too far from the 21-day moving average. But I'm long for Bitcoin right now. Like, fucking funny. The second I said that, Bitcoin absolutely ripping from 80,000. They just ripped the shorts a new one right now on a low volume Thursday. They just ripped the shorts up. Like the shorts just got absolute. That's a liquidation event right there. They're liquidating the shorts right now as we speak to the upside. Right when I say that I'm long. It's so insane, right? Like I literally said I'd open, I'm long now. And like, so anyway, this is what I see happening for Bitcoin. I don't know, maybe some whale watches my channel and they all just longed on me. I don't know what's going on. Okay. One other thing we could do is we could look at the liquidation events here as well. With this other cool indicator that I have. Did I lose some of my... There's a place where you can see every layout that you used to have, right? Because like... Huh. It's crazy because I had way more layouts and now I don't... Oh, no, I only got one layout. Sorry, only one. Yeah, I'm messing up right now. I'm talking templates, not layouts. I'm out of my mind over here. I'm like, wait, where are all my templates? I've gotten templates and layouts confused a few times. It's not a good look because then if you change your layout, you change everything. That can be confusing. Look at all my crazy layouts. So many cool things. But I'm looking for what's called the Lifer Liquidator here, and it's going to show us something interesting. There's the Lifer Raider. No, I need the Lifer Liquidator. Haven't seen this in a long time, but it's going to show us liquidation levels, right? And you can see there's a lot of longs here, but there's a lot more. It looks like there's a little more shorts to get induced. And if they keep playing this game, it's even on both sides though. But if they please play in this game, and if you zoom in here and you look at this, you can see like the color scenarios, and you can go to the settings here. And you can see like 100x are yellow, 50x are the grayish, 25x is the blue, right? And those are short positions that are going to get liquidated. And this is similar to BOOKMAP in a way where you can see who's on the board, right? 100x, 50x, and 25x, right? So you've got a lot of blue, right? They're going to be closest. And you can kind of look at the liquidations. And so you can see, I mean, there's a lot of liquidations here. A lot of liquidations there. It looks like they may kind of run you down to 81.8 first, clean it up, and then that will induce more shorts, which they can then clean back up again. You can kind of see what they did before too, and how they ran into, they got a lot of this liquidity already. And see, that's what a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder is. It's made of liquidations. It's made, the market moves. See, once I learned about liquidity, I found out even more about patterns. It made me trade patterns even more, because then I learned why how the pattern was made due to liquidity. And how liquidity created the pattern. You see what I'm saying? It was so beautiful. It made so much sense. And it just added to what I had already learned. And that's why I like just continuing to learn in this space is so fascinating. It's a never-ending journey for me that's so rewarding. There's monetary rewards. There's you know, friendship rewards. I meet people that are like, oh my God, I looked at the fib the way you did, and like we really connect. We're nerds, man. I don't care. And I'm not afraid to say it. Like we connect over like mathematical terms that make us excited. I don't care, you know, I don't care. And that's who I am. I've made a living off of being excited about the math, being excited about Fibonacci, like being blown away when I see fractals and magic and fractal magic. Things that shouldn't be happening are happening all around the board. So today's a day about the bigger picture and why I'm long. And, you know, you've got to decide whether you're long or whether you're short, and it's up to you, and or whether you just don't want to trade at all. I will tell you right now on the small fry picture, small fry setting, we are in here. We are in this right here. You can use this for both the small and the bigger picture here, but this is a symmetrical triangle. They mainly break to the downside. Today, in the next 8 hours, we're going to know whether this breaks up or breaks down. I'm long, so it better break up, right? I mean, and make me look smart. Again, if I lose the trade, don't call me a fool. And if I win the trade, don't call me a genius. I'm just a guy trading probabilities. But I mean, look at 84.5, and I called a long right at 84,000. I was like, I would long. I said it. I actually drew the trade when we were at 84,017. It's right there. You can see it. 84, fine, 368, 350. I think I was talking about the long when the wick was there. So they brought you down to 83.7. They got everyone freaked out. They induced some shorts, and what did they do? And this looks like it may be making a beautiful shoulder, head right shoulder that will really just do some damage. I'm just, as long as we keep cooking above this 200 MA on the 1 hour, whenever I've seen us above the 200 on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, and there's some good stuff on the 8 hour and the 12, let those play out. We'll see what happens. We are a little pressed on the bigger time frames. Like the 22 isn't, the daily's getting up there, and there's things that have to be happening on the 3-day and the weekly as far as I'm concerned, like as far as key levels are concerned. But we're going to look at that every single day. We're not going to leave you. I'm here. I don't take days off. I don't say one thing and then disappear for 5 days. And you're like, what did he say last week? We're going to come back and tonight, I'm going to look exactly this pattern. We're going to say, look what we looked at the live. And even at 4 or 5 o'clock, I might do an update and say, look what we looked at the live. If I'm in the trade today, I'm going to put an update to this. I'm going to say I'm still in the trade. Look, we bounced. We're in the tightness. It's up to you what you want to do, but I'm still long. So it's all the shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. The shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. All this is being defied right now. And we are ripping to the upside for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the small time frames now for BTC. And, it makes me want to look at my futures account real quick here. And look, we just got above the 1 minute 200 MA, my known trading signal for a long. And look, boom. I'm telling you, the bots are induced to buy when we cross 200 MAs. And it's just not going to change. Also, everyone says patterns don't work. What do you mean? Whenever we dump, I teach you how to find an inverted head and shoulder. I teach you to ride the right shoulder in a flag. I stopped trading this because I've seen them break down sometimes, but the odds were 68% of the time this inverted head and shoulder was going to break to the upside. Agreed? Agreed. That's what I teach my students. And it said it's supposed to break out the length of the pole, this wick to the high wick of the right side. Flip it up right there. And look, that's exactly where we just wicked to. That's where the algorithmic pressure was taken. The bots just saw this. The bots got in on the right shoulder. They sold the top. See, bots are algorithmically pattern recognized, and they know the price action moves in the geometrical mathematical roads in which is given it. Listen, we live inside of a geometrical space and time. So the price action can't leave the parameters in which we live in. You understand? Does this make sense to you? Like the road, I'm trying to tell you how your actual reality is created. It's created, look at me. I'm right angles and circles. I don't have rigid lines. Like, I'm not like, when you look at me, I'm not like fuzzy. They say there's a universe where everything isn't fine and defined like this. It's blurry and fuzzy. And that's how they there's hydrogen universes we're oxygen induced, but there's like hydrogen. There's different, I've been reading about this stuff, and you can get into it if you want. So anyway, because there's multiple universes throughout the galaxy, right? I mean, let's be honest. So now I look for my actual, now you can see, wow, look, ooh. So one of my I would have been looking for the reversal. This is likely our daily bottom. All right, this is how the daily bottom looks 90% of the time. So it's likely that the daily candle is going to be at 83,700. We're going to come back to this tonight when I do my update, and we're going to actually revisit this idea and see if I'm correct. So now what I do is, look, I map out the 1 minute. And let's do this on weeks. Well, I got so many trades open on weeks right now. I love weeks. But, you can actually scalp on weeks while you have trades open. It's another cool thing about weeks. So let's take a look at the 1 minute on weeks. So now I map out my next trade on weeks, you see? And what I'm doing is I'm looking for the 21-day. And weeks is amazing for US customers. The fees are way better than 90% of the exchanges. And you're going to have access to all the same exact tools and tips and tricks that you have on MEXC. It's awesome. It's basically MEXC for the United States customer when it comes to futures. All right, with a little higher fees, but way less than the competition. Run by a similar, customer service team, dedication. Really good customer service here at Weeks. Really good people. Like, I can talk to them, you know, regularly. It's an amazing team. Good people. So look, we got a bounce here off the 200 MA. We need to keep that. The 21-day moving average coming up closer to price action. And this is kind of what we're seeing. And then you can see too, there's a lot of, you know, 85,150 for Bitcoin. So we're looking for this bounce and some tightness here. This leaves it dump, you know, or you're going to get some type of right shoulder. Again, it's the 1 minute. Anything could happen on a low volume Thursday. But I'm now looking for my model. My model would, 21 would pull in. We, you know, whenever my model's about to happen, I at least watch for it. Some days I watch for my model just like a dog that thinks his owner's coming home, but he ends up not. It's not him. It's someone else. It's a different car. He comes to the door. He's so excited. I'm not a dog, no. But you know what I mean? Like, I get excited like that when I see what could be my model. Bouncing off the 200 MA is really cool. I like that. This is where I really like to jump into BITUNIX, because BITUNIX, I could just, you know, you can get in and swing trade that really fast with like a moment's notice. BITUNIX is like my 1 minute scalpelino, but I'm pretty quick on all time frames. So what I'm now doing is putting a stop loss below the previous support area and below the 21-day moving average. And I'm going to take profit at 85,150. Stop loss is going to be at about 84,293. I'm going to double check my numbers. I'm going to scroll over. Before that, I'm going to click the order book. Very, very important. A couple times I haven't done that, and then you're buying into something that is not the key. So I got liquidity out there, but dang, I just missed on that move, right? And look, these trades have been open for a long, long time. Margin available, not enough. All right. I'm 11. Let's see. There's 3,600 available. Like, yeah, sometimes it's just the way the math works out, right? See, I'm flipping to BITUNIX real quick because I like the fast speed of the scalp on BITUNIX. I trade, let's see here. Yeah. See, BITUNIX got me on the bounce here. See, BITUNIX, I'm in like this. I'm already in. You see, the fees are high though. They make you pay for it, right? The amount not could be less than the minimum amount. What's going on today? Oh, I got to be careful. Yeah. I forgot. I'm getting a chart delay here too. See, man, I got a lot of stuff open. That's why I love MEXC. MEXC just never seems to ever disconnect for me. See, MEXC, I'd be in already nailing it. I like MEXC. I'll hold up. And maybe sometimes it's the first exchange I open that day. It kind of takes over on my network. I got 3 exchanges open. I'm rocking on, you know, but I miss, see, my entries are crucial. Like, my lifers already got in. But it happens. Think about it. I got BOOKMAP. And generally almost all 3 of those are working perfectly. I don't know what happened there. I can't. Dang, I just missed a beautiful entry. But hey, it is what it is. You guys know that that's my entry. I'd already be up right now. I'd already be up in that on that trade. Who's up on that trade right now? Because I taught you that model, you learned the model, and you perfected the model. And you know that thing is gold. Like gold, baby, gold. So, you know, 85, 120. Stop's going to be at about, what, 84, 348. And now we even wait to see if we can maybe get a little bit of a move back to the bottom of the pattern here to kind of give us a better price somewhere, maybe 84.5 even. I tend to just buy when we're above the 200 because I don't have time. Like, I don't got time. Like, I got a business meeting. I'm doing something. I like to, you know, I've studied this for years. The point of studying a model is so you don't have to sit on it all day and think about it. You can just find the model, trade it, come back. Try the model, trade it, come back. Either you made money or you lost money. I see kind of shoulder. I've seen this play out many times recently. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. You see that? A slanted head and shoulder. Doesn't mean it's going to happen at all. I've seen it happen. I'm on the ready for both things. I don't like to lose, so now I'm perfecting my entry. I want to watch closely. This has to bounce here and get tight, preferably. Very aggressive to bounce now. You bounce right now, this is an M pattern that will dump in your face. All right, you've definitely got a rejection at 84,594 now. This has to bounce and show you that it's consolidating. This is where real patience kicks in. This is where you have to have control over yourself. This is where... Now, a bunch of people are going to short right now with a stop above here. They're going to do that because it's a head and shoulder pattern, and that's how they read it. And they may win that. I'm all set. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm only going to trade my model. My models are long models. I've traded long models on short days and made money. The day's been a nasty dump, and it just pumped a couple times. You've seen it, and I've made like $500 in a few minutes on that one little pump and called it a day. I remember doing it one day. And again, that's only after I perfected the model. It took years, so that's how I remember it, because it was something I never would have done before. So you got to get this bounce here with the 21 crossing. And then what that do, it was to defy the head and shoulder. Otherwise, the head and shoulder is going. Now, there's a 68% chance the head and shoulder gets to win this one. I'd say there's a little defiance based off of the moving average. The moving averages, to me, are tougher than anything else. They're even tougher than a pattern. This pattern now has to defy the 21 crossing the 200 MA, which is usually hard to do. I'm surprised this isn't going to bounce here. At the same time, I'm not in the trade, so it doesn't really matter. I didn't enter the scalp because the scalp didn't do what I wanted it to do. Bounce here and show me some love. This is a very aggressive entry right here on the exact bounce. I've done it a few times. It can play out, but it can also... I also know M patterns are bearish. Measured move of this M pattern is the main lane there, and you're just going to dump right back down to 84.2. Nice pump for Bitcoin. We just pumped from basically 84,001 all the way back to 84,650. And it's a low volume Thursday. It's a day where they go after a lot of the leverage traders. So you're a minnow, not to get eaten by the sharks. There's less minnows out there now. You're not going to be able to swim with the herd. So the odds of them picking you up are a lot higher. Remember that. When you're trading Thursdays, Fridays, as opposed to Tuesday, Wednesdays, even Mondays, there's just less volume out there. They can see your orders easier. You're slim pickings, you know. Again, that would be a highly aggressive entry. For me, it's 2 for 5 on the aggressiveness. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now my model is showing that it may play out, so I'm going to take it. I could easily lose this trade. It's very high risk. Don't do this if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have proper risk management, you don't have, I know why the position size is the size it is. I know why the exact type of leverage I'm using. I know where my liquidation level is as compared to my stop loss. Okay, I've done this exact trade thousands of times. I know exactly what I'm doing. Why I'm doing it is because I've won this trade probably, I'd say 70% of the time I'll win the trade like this. And again, I'm likely to lose it in front of everybody. This is how the world, right? Just stop me out. You guys will laugh at me and call it a day. Thursday trading isn't the best. We did get the bounce. They faked me out for a second. And again, when I do this too, I tend not to look at it. And now this is when I ask for some super chats, so we can get our minds off of that trade for a second. You don't got to stare at the trade. Just let the trade do its thing. All right. I've been watching this guy for a few months, and he has called it most of the time. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate you for saying it. Does Mocky Mark like turtles? You're funny. Guys, you just got to turtle soup it, okay? That's what Master Friend said. Master Friend said I was the best. He told me I could do it. He told me I was a cop. I had a fireman. I did the sniper thing. I did it all. He said, Mocky, I told you you're the best, dude. You're from Boston, Mocky. All right? So, just get up there. You're like a Canadian, just like me. You could do this. There's no terrorists on the like button. Oh, God bless you. Sam, do you ever use the TradingView API to enter trades? No. Today was one of the greatest learning streams I ever did. I told myself today that I would focus on learning 100%. I wouldn't talk much about life coaching stuff. I would really focus on the charts and learning. And I said, man, I got so many tips, tricks, and ideas and things that I could fill the live stream with today to just blow these people's minds. So again, I told you at 11:15, 11:20, somewhere area, I was going to show you this fractal magic. So let's show you AAVE on Binance. All right. And I just got to get to something really fast. We got the trade cooking. So either you made the trade or you didn't. All right, either we lose the 200 MA or we don't. It's pretty simple. Like either I get stopped out or I don't. There's really not much to talk about. And so we'll see what happens in a little while, right? Right now it's got to bounce. I'm in the green now. I'm up 27 bucks pretty fast. I mean, it's a fast way to make $30. I'll tell you that. 40 bucks. Look, almost. Wow, I went from 38 to 18. Wow, look at the volatility on that. I was up 38. It went to down -12 in literally 10 seconds. Unbelievable. This isn't for the faint of heart. This is not from, and this is a $142,000 trade. This is not a small trade. Okay? This is not a little trade by any means. If you can't handle the fire, get out of the kitchen, please. All right? So let's take a look at AAVE here on Binance. And we're going to go back in time on a little walk. AAVE is a great lending platform where you can actually, stake your Bitcoin and get a loan off of that Bitcoin, which is pretty crazy. And under like 20 minutes, you can get, a massive loan against your. So AAVE was pumping. I first got in. It had hit Binance. I thought to get in, and it was 20 bucks. It kept pumping. I swung traded a couple times. I decided, man, this should be a long-term part of my portfolio. And so around $74, $77. And at this point, I was, really heavily studied in hidden bullish divergence. I had my 4 years in it. I've been using it a lot. And I saw that, price action was swinging up here. And maybe it was the daily. Or even there, yeah, right? Yeah, okay. No, but it looked just like this, yeah. Well, it may have been the daily. I just want to do this right. Okay, here we go. And I think it looks the best on like the 12-hour, but this should blow your mind. I hope it may or may not. I don't know. I think it should. So I'm sitting there watching AAVE, and I know hidden bullish very well. And right here, I called the hidden bullish divergence on it. I pulled my fibs like a good boy. We bounced pretty close to the 618. You could even bring this fib here and see we went like right to the 886. And then I like my falling wedges. My low stochastic, MACD was turning, right? And then we had hidden bullish divergence. Hidden bullish with a good fib retracement. And that's what we're in right now on the weekly for Bitcoin again, right? But so I played it once and it played out. We got a nice pump to the upside, swung traded, got out when the Stokes, were high. And I was like, that's going to be how I trade. I was like, wow, I got, that's going to be. And then I saw it again here. I said, man, this tells me it's going to do it again. I said, we got the falling wedge. We've got hidden bullish divergence. We've got low stochastic. I say we got the fib retracement back to the 618. This is what Bitcoin is in this exact. See, I've seen this over and over again. Bitcoin's doing this right now on the weekly. This exact pattern. It's fascinating to me. And so what I did is I looked at it on like the 4-hour one day. And that's when I really did hidden. That's when I put a lot of money down on AAVE there, and it made me, and I banked hard, right? A few times, and I just kept trading hidden bullish divergence on AAVE. I was like, this is amazing. I said, this is indicator. And it wasn't an indicator, right? Like everyone was like buying an indicator. Like it wasn't an indicator. It was like, I was just using. So check this out. And my mind was like, had a pattern recognition type of mind where like I could see patterns. Like I didn't even see numbers. I didn't read the news. I was really good at extract. When everyone else gets caught up in all this other stuff, my mind's really good at just being like, no, if the math isn't there, then it's not there. Forget about it, So let's go to Bitcoin now, and we'll go to the all-time history index. And I used to show this. I haven't showed this in years on the channel. This is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. You can see I'm not even stressed about the trade at all. That I got stopped out that fast. Look at that. They got me. And watch them pump it again. You never know. That's why I got my bigger trades open on the 4-hour time frame. I'm not playing, but that looks like it's going to pump. Stop me out below the 200. Could have been a little lower. If I just used this support or resistance level. See here. And now I see like a head and shoulder pattern forming, you see? Now they're playing games with me. What I like about, you know, it keeps the trade open there too, same trade. You're not going to stop me out of my model twice. Unlikely. I'm back in on that, man. Low stochastic above the 200. Come on, man. I challenge you. It is a low volume Thursday, so I mean, let's get back. I'm more into what I'm showing you here than that trade. Like, I love teaching, man. I'm more into what I do. I actually care more about teaching than trading. If it was up to me, I'd spend more time teaching others than trading. I've traded for 20 years now. I've been staring at these charts for a long, long time. The least I could do now is give it back, you know. So Bitcoin was doing its thing. It was back in the day. Everyone said we were going to dump. They said grayscale was unlocking. Look how nasty this looked. It looked very bearish. It looked very, very bearish. But what I did was I pulled a Fibonacci on this key level, and you can see we had come right down here to the 618 golden pocket. Amen. And you can see clearly we had this, like, you know, falling wedge, very similar to what I just showed you for AAVE. Amen. And you can clearly see that we had swing up to swing up and swing down to swing down. And then we paced the right. And then we even had shoulder, kind of head shoulder. We came up, we made this little thing, came up, did this little divot and fell down. Came up, made this little thing, did this little divot, fell down. And I matched this, and it was exactly the same thing. And I realized that they use some type of algorithm, and they do the same things over and over again. And I was onto them. Like, I got them. Like, I was like, I got you. Like, and I called a bottom here for Bitcoin, and I shocked the world, and I showed people how I did it by pattern recognition on AAVE. And I've been using hidden bullish divergence ever since. And I did it again when I bought Bitcoin at 88 right now, right? We'll get this money back. We'll break even. Come on, baby. Right shoulder us right on out of here now. Don't play me now. So if this should give you an adrenaline rush, this should freak you out. You should be like, what is, and again, and then you're always looking, what I found is for that cup and handle, right? And then the break, and then the continuation, like, and Bitcoin did the exact thing, the cup and handle. We drew this cup and handle before it happened. I projected where Bitcoin could go, right? It's just fascinating, right? Anyway, so hidden bullish, I've seen this in the Stokes will get low, the RSI, the MACD, you'll see. So the package that you're looking for, and I'm giving gold away again. I don't know why I'm so nice, but your package you're looking for is the 618 fib. A lot of times this will coincide with the support of resistance. Like, there'll be some wick up here and you'll be coming back to the support of resistance. The high volume node will be looking interesting, right? Oh my God, Bitcoin's dumping, everybody watch out. That's the old chart, you know. I bet someone saw that candle and freaked out from all the times they got stopped out or something, right? So you see how this fractal is from AAVE from 2020, and then I put it on Bitcoin a year later at 2021. It's in the same place. It's doing the same thing. The indicators look exactly the same. It's the weekly, but I'm taking the information from the 4 hour, and I learned that all time frame is transient, and that you can take information from all different time frames. It doesn't matter the one, and that it kind of spans space and time. So I sat here last night and I decided I was going to do this on today's show. I designed this whole show today in my mind, ready for an amazing show. And I really hope your mind's blown. I could sit here and live trade all day long, and we did that. You saw me lose. That's great. All right. You know that I lose too. That's awesome. All right. I lose trades. Hi, my name's Sam Price, and I just lost my trade. I may lose again. If I lose again, I'm out for the day. That's it. I'm not chasing. I got other trades open. We'll go from there. All right. So that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. And then you can go here to my profile, if you very well may, and you can follow me on TradingView, and you can kind of see the things that I've said in the past and in a long time, and kind of go over them. You know, one of the greatest calls that I ever made in my life on any chart And like, you can see my Bitcoin fractal ideas, things that I'm looking at. Of course, not every idea is probably spot on perfect. I'm looking for this one. Wow, so many over time. Look, Bitcoin to pop to target $10,000. Let's see if I was right here. So like, this was back in, I love this stuff. Look, this is back in September 11th I made this call. That Bitcoin was gonna, look, it looks like a shoulder, head and right shoulder, like it's gonna dump. It's actually a bear flag, right? But look, there's a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder there. And then when we get tight, we tend to pump up to the 200 MA. Let's see what happened back then. They don't store this in for much. So I'd have to go back to Friday 11th, September 11th on the chart, which we can do, right? We're actually right near it right now. Look at that. We'll look at all-time history index. Friday, September 11th on the chart. If you don't realize this is fascinating you and can teach you so much, then you're missing out on the full idea of what we're doing here. It looks like it did pump, right? Look, it pumped up to almost 10,000. That was it right there. There was a little dip first though, but it did pump up to 10,000. See that? Oh no, 2020, sorry. It was 2020. So right here, this is what I showed you. Right there, there it is. So this is what I'm showing. Right? And I put it out on the 11th. And I said Bitcoin's at 10,000. And it went to 10,000. It did exactly that. It did it. Right? I called it out on the profile. What time frame is that now? The 1 hour? I'd like to really... Can we be really precise here and go to the 1 hour there? It's going to be a bit of a pain for a second. Bear with me, but it's worth seeing. The trade's pumping. We're at 84.6. You're in the green. I don't know what else you need from me. I gave you a live trade. You're in the green now. The first one, fine. You got taken out. I don't win every time. I never claimed I do. If I did, I'd be a liar. Oh, it's going to be really difficult. Oh, I think you can... Can't you hit like Control C or something? Or Control G? Alt G? And just put in the date that you want to go to. 2020... 9/11, or is that 09 or 11/09? No, September. Oh yeah, so you September 11th of 2020. It didn't do it. Oh, I don't have a chart that has all that right now. Anyway, I'm going to waste your time at this point. I don't want to. I apologize. I don't know why it didn't seem to go back. Like, it seems like it stops it. That's odd. This chart doesn't stop there, so let's go. Let's do this again. Go to. There it is right there. But I want to be on the 1 hour, so... When I do this, I put a blue line here. So we found a little glitch. Like, get me there on the 1 hour. Like, there's probably a way to do this, and I'm not doing it right. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take me all day to get back there on the 1 hour at that time frame. Like, this is 1 year. I can't, it's taken months to go through one. At this point, I've lost price action. Probably deleted it somehow. I don't know. Anyway... So it got to be an easier way to get back to that time frame. And some of you probably yelling at me. You're saying use BLX. Yeah, Brave New. Anyway, you could see that was a correct call there. It did break out to the upside at that point in time. And then we made a flag and we continued. Just kind of nuts. Like, there's just so many weird... There's been a lot. I've been doing this for a long time. I love Bitcoin. I put my life and soul into it. I put my heart into it. Trading it, learning about it, teaching people about it, adding it to my portfolio, living it, breathing it. You know, just being, you know, being obsessed with it. Like, you know, having it a huge part of my life. So right here, Bitcoin to pop to the target, 69,000 in the cup and handle. It's October of 2021. I used to have this one. And look, my data said it was going to go there by November 18th. It hit it on November 9th. I was about 9 days shy and hit the exact target. I like the exact target. It didn't make the right shoulder that I maybe slightly projected, but I had the cup and handle drawn the whole time. If you took the right shoulder off, I mean, that thing's perfect. And again, the right shoulder was speculative. The fact that it made that little flag and it was gone. And again, we traded this right shoulder. I traded this cup and handle. I got in there too. Like, these are some epic calls. And again, who cares? I'm showing you technical analysis play out. I just uncovered it. You could do the same thing. Okay. Trade's kind of doing its thing. We're seeing some movement here. We're starting to consolidate above the 200 MA. It's a good sign. We may get a continuation. Let this the stochastics reset without losing the 200, and we have a chance to win here. Look, we're up 70 bucks. We already got half of that loss back. Let's see if we can get the whole thing back, baby. And I told you I'm the king of 3%. Okay? Nobody makes 3% more than me. So if you scalp that right now, you could be in and out. Call it a day. Say thanks. He's looking at you, kid. So there's a lot to talk about. The shoulder, head, shoulders, inducing the shorts. I gave you every piece of information I could for Bitcoin today. Like, I basically wrung out the cloth with all my knowledge. There's not much more I could give you when it comes to trading Bitcoin today. There really isn't. I've covered the gambit when it comes to I went out of my mind. Again, so remember, when I called this hidden bullish divergence here, and I was screaming about it on Bitcoin, and I kept saying that this is because I have known for years that this plays out. This is the same fractal. It's the same fractal yet again. It's just a slight variation of it. But you know, there it is. And it always has the spiky head. It always has this little hill on the right side. Right there, that hill first. And then it makes some type of flag. It's pretty insane. It's pretty intense, right? This one's not as perfect. The other one was like spot on, right? It was like exact. But you can see it basically does the same thing. This little flag is that little flag right there before the massive breakout. It's madness, man. Madness. Again, this isn't an awesome fractal, but it's absolute madness. Sean and team, I would like us to extrapolate some frames from the live stream today and post them to Twitter and call it the fractal magic. Say AAVE and say Bitcoin and be like, see how you can learn from each other. You know, I don't know, make it interesting. Have Grok write it up if you need to. But, you know, take a little synopsis of what I said today. I mean, that you know, people seem to like fractals on Twitter. It might get some traction. It's kind of it's an interesting way to see the mind of a trader. I was able to see through patterns and prognosis why we had bottomed. Everyone else was using all this other, and it made sense to me, but nobody else. And I was like, but why can't you see it the way I can see? Like Rain Man, I was like, this is obvious. So I've been seeing this type of stuff over and over again. So again, the reason why I'm so adamant about what I'm seeing now is because it's resembling this exact kind of thing. Again, yes, this was kind of not head and shoulder, it was a double top, but it was a reversal top pattern. Inducement here. So again, I could see it dumping on me too. I've seen it both ways today, but that 200 bounce too is nice. I remember we started seeing this funky ascending triangle that I didn't even notice last time as well. So again, I don't want to beat a, you know, I don't actually like saying that anymore because it's kind of, I don't think it's, but I don't want to go over it too much and just continue to go over the same thing over and over again. Like I've covered Bitcoin in depth. All right. Oh, say, I just got to the live. Could you please repeat yourself? No, I can't. Thank you. Any thoughts on the time? Matt by Solana. I liked it, but the chart looks horrible. Yeah, Bit Energy Coin is the same as Bitcoin, but in the ton chain. Sounds cool. No Man's Island, in my opinion. No Man's Land. You know No Man's Land? It's off the coast of Massachusetts. No Man's Land. You're not supposed to go there. Don't be going there. Don't go to no man's. No man's, baby. No man's. Okay, lifer, which MA crosses are strategically meaningful? 50 and 21 is pretty nice, yeah. 50 and the 21, the 34, the 9 and the 34. You could use almost anything you want as long as you do it all the time. But the 50 and the 21, the 50 and the 200, the 21 and the 200. These can kind of lead to bigger moves later on. All right. No, I can't just why I know, right? Exactly. Car has an add-on on CMC. I agree. It was supposed to be awesome. You know, too many VCs get into these things, and then when the market looks bad, they trash it. They trash it. They got in so early, they decide they're you know, they'll go to something else they can 100x. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Somebody asked about NVIDIA. What's happening to NVIDIA? It was making an inverted head and shoulder. Looked like it could get some nice movement, but now it's looking a little sketchy. Let's take a look. Always got to look at the bigger picture when you're looking at a chart. To me, it almost looks like it's going to make a shoulder ahead and maybe a bigger right shoulder. It's in for maybe a longer correction. Had a massive pump that was a little ridiculous, if you ask me. Looks like it may be in for a massive correction. Maybe somewhere back down there. Again, maybe not. No, you're hoping there's a chance it could bounce here and go sideways. Either if it's bearish or bullish, it does look like it may be getting some type of bounce on the bigger time frame. Maybe even, you know, somewhere back to 132, and everyone will be like, oh, it's back. It's got a divergence, and it's very oversold on the weekly. You even pull the fib from right here, which is where I would initially pull it. And yeah, it wicked off the 618 golden pocket. And get rid of the moving averages if you can for a second. And my scribble, you really want to look at price action clean and neat. I can see you're coming back down to the 200-day and bouncing off the 618 after just a nasty image, but you've been pretty bearish this week too. But getting very tight. Looks like you're just going to maybe spend, I don't know, another 15 days in the doldrums before it starts to break out again. But I see this as an accumulation zone before it starts to break back somewhere up to at least 132. From there, we'll find out if it's a right shoulder or it wants to consolidate for NVIDIA. Can you do MAVIA for me, please? Heroes of MAVIA. I remember this going in a long time ago. Thing just never performed. Can you believe that? It went from 6.50 to 18 cents. Gaming coins are the worst. I've lost the most money in gaming coins. Like the ones that I've gotten into or speculated on and they've never played out. Or they played out for a day or two and then they just go down for years. At this point, like, will it ever come back? Speculative at best. Nobody seems to care. It's got to get back at least above $1 before anyone even says a word. And that's got to be almost over a 5x. I just, look at Cat. This is, you know what I love about this? Look at this. TA is so beautiful. My students know what this is. Watch one of my students. What is this, students? What pattern is this to the lifers? Watch how good my students are. Wow, I'll be honest. No, I won't say it, but check this out. This will blow your mind. So look at this, trading patterns, right? And that's cat ears right there. It shows you up and down, and then it squiggles down. The trigger and the target. And it shows you exactly what's going to happen. Right there, right there, right there. Look, there's me, dude. That's amazing. Look, I come up when you Google cat ears trading patterns. I'm right there. That's so cool. Look, I come up. Sam Price, do you know cat ears? I see it on Bitcoin, and it eventually did play out. But so, and look, that is cat ears. It's just perfect. Cat ears, man. Like, that's exactly what you're looking for. What I like to do is juxtapose it, right? So you can really like get an idea of that, right? And so what you do is you click on this, print screen with ShareX, snatch it, go back to, right, paste it, and it just like, it doesn't get better than that. Like, and this is how you start to learn, like, and understand what's happening in the market. I know more patterns than anyone on YouTube, man. I'll teach you so much stuff, your mind will be blown. Okay. Today was just a clinic yet again, and the trade's in the green. Like, you're in the green on that trade at 84,610. Like, say whatever you want. I lost the first one, but let's see. You know, this is looking bullish. That's looking like a huge move is coming. That would make me want to go all in with the swimwear. Am I back to getting... Yeah, I'm back in price action here. Look, I mean, that's a nice scalp there, too. What would 1% be? I don't know my risk. I mean, that's nice, though. That's my model right there. You're in the flag. You've got the inverted head and shoulder. The only thing that I don't like is the time. Like, Thursday's not my favorite, but Thursday before 2 o'clock, I'm willing to get busy. After 2, it's a ghost town. You know, after 2, if you didn't get your money by then, you're playing game. Like, everyone else got their money by 2 o'clock on Thursday. If you didn't get your money by 2 o'clock on Thursday, you know, everyone else is laughing at you. Like, you're like, oh, you're still waiting to get paid? Oh, okay. Like, we done paid ourselves already, you know. So there you go. I mean, there's a 2.5 risk reward ratio right there. I might even get a little better, 3.28. That's what I'm talking about. So maybe I want to be 85322, 84338. You even get better at seeing these numbers in half a second and just like computing it fast. 78 for 278. I'll pass on that dump right there. Happy Easter weekend. U.S. equity markets are closed tomorrow for Good Friday, and that's also going to make today a slumpy day and affect the markets next week. So markets will be closed, and so today's like a Friday. You know, and that's definitely going to affect the markets, yeah. It's Good Friday. It's Easter weekend. That's why all my posts have been an Easter bunny, if you've been noticing, in the Discord, right? A lot of people getting ready to go on a trip today. Kids are getting out of school, you know, and they're going to go see grandma and grandpa. Maybe they're going to fly to Florida. Florida's been packed. The beach has been packed. Everybody got out for New York. About to be a golden cross on that 4-hour time frame. I'm bullish on Bitcoin going sideways for between 8 and 16 more hours at the most, and then a massive move out of the shoulder head, kind of right shoulder there for Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on BTC, as you can clearly see. Let's take a look at one in Zilliqa. Really, people really want to know about one. Harmony. I bet it's in the dumps. I bet it looks horrible. I bet it's not even worth talking about. Man, coins that actually were substantial, that people cared about. That had ecosystems, that actually had teams that were like, wow. Nobody talks about Harmony. Nobody. Had some good backing even by Binance at one point. That's make you think. But again, it's come back from the dead here. It's bounce 1, 2, 3. It's telling you this is a great bounce area. Or could be the last time and it never makes it again. Hey, if you're a gambling man, maybe. But for me, I'm all set. If I'm going to trade this, at least give me a shoulder, a head, or right shoulder. Break out and retest. 1.7. And then it can gap back up. Then it'll flag out here likely. Pump, pump, pump. Looks like it can definitely get back to its highs, but you've got to really like this project to buy into it at this point. I don't like it enough. So it is what it is. Sayonara, señorita. All right. That's how the market goes. This is a dollar liquidity problem. Develop and be smart. Look at BOOKMAP new liquidity. We do. Look at a bunch of people just shorted the market and gave us a bunch of stop losses to shred up. So now we could likely get to 85,000. Look at all those newbies. We could chew up 85,200 nice and neatly. So BOOKMAP suggesting, link to BOOKMAP in the description. It shows us where there's a lot of action. Listen, I got a bot that goes in and out for me. It's an algorithmic trading system. It's absolutely amazing. If you'd like to find out more, there's a link to it in the description, and you can set yourself up with a call. They'll tell you all the reasons why it's amazing. I have it running for me. It just made me another $1,600, which I bought more Bitcoin with, and then that Bitcoin trades. And it's a basically compounding over and over again. It's amazing. So let's look at TAI and Zilliqua. TAI, which is TARS AI, TAS protocol. Wow, this thing, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 weeks of straight sell-off. That's insane. I would say this is dead. Dead to me. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. That looks disgusting. Happy I never bought that piece. Zilliqua, the same. A real team, real project, dumped. That's why I told you guys, Solana, Sui, only things that actually kept above key levels. Everything else for me, I'm all set. I'm not digging for diamonds. We had the run-up. May of 2021. This thing didn't even pump in March. Like, barely. That was the highest it ever got. I'm all set. I traded this coin back in here. Waited a long time. Got out somewhere there and never looked back, man. This was a hot coin when sharding was new. You have to remember, a lot of the stuff came out. The tech is new. The tech changes every couple of months. We're onto something new and different. Crypto is very speculative of the timing it's in. This thing was hot because it was one of the first coins to shard, and sharding was big back then. Like a shard of glass. No, not pooping your pants. That's sharding. All right? I'm talking about shadding. All right? With a D, shadding. Shards of glass. Right? You take a piece of glass, you break it, it breaks into shards. All right, a bunch of these are my nice little shards of like, okay, anyway. So, with the shards of glass over here. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to remember every single part of the blockchain. Each transaction is a shard, and it breaks the so it makes it faster for computing. But now we have even faster ideas, like I don't know. So that was like that was cool back here. Like so what keeps this is hot? I mean, unless they re-innovate, they're gonna call themselves an AI engine. That's over too. That went so fast. And again, maybe we have the super cycle. You've never believed in everything goes up, and these are the best places to buy. Fine. If you believe in this coin, you like the team, I'm all set. I'm all set. I wouldn't breathe on this thing. You know what I mean? I'm all set. I don't even want to look at it again. And someone says, where do you see Solana breaking out to? Let's take a look at Sol. Sol has a use case and a purpose. People can, pump coins on it. I mean, it's sad to say, but it's true, right? The president used it. The whole world used it. As good or as bad as that was, it was the first time something was used, right? Like, let's just say there was a fruit press, and it made awesome fruit juice that was healthy, but people started using it just to press a fruit to make booze. And so its first use case maybe was, was good, but also made booze, and then people used it to make something great. That's happened in the past. So like the first use case may not be the best, but it may, So like Solana has some use cases that, but would it like the Trump coin? Like not everyone was so happy about that. Let's be honest. Even me included, because I had tons of altcoins that probably wouldn't be so low right now. Like that was a black swan event for altcoins. As much as it was like a big event for the market, a lot of people made some money, but not everyone had the time to run to their account, sell every coin they had, and buy it. I had loose capital, and I got, but it is what it is, man. So it broke its 1 week uptrend. It'll retrace up, which will cause it all season in the meantime. That's how Fruity Pebbles are made, right? Exactly. Yeah. SEI looks tempting to me too as well. And so that fib retracement to the 706 Fibonacci too, and the previous support as resistance here. Again, I'd like to see Sol close a candle above 160. Why? Because that's this. See where these two candles hit. That's just a key area, and then we could use that as support. And man, it's if we close candles above 160, we start to hang. It's a good chance we're coming back for 250 and more. and there's still use cases for Solana. It's still doing its thing. Is this a giant shoulder, kind of head right shoulder? Do we have some type of crazy super cycle? The thing is, even if we have a crazy super cycle, it looks like it takes February of 2026 to get to $500. But hey, it's still a 5x with a massive chain and a lot of money coming into the market. We'll take what we can get. We'll be grateful for everything we receive and thank the Lord for all the ups and the downs, no matter what. Bitcoin trades still flat, but above the 200 MA. We need that to continue to move if we're going to win here. We can't lose this 200. We got to pump back up to the upside over here, to the upside. You know my idea on the bigger time frames. I got the bigger trades open. I went into in depth on Bitcoin. If you have any questions, if anyone in the group is somewhat hypothesized this, explain this to them. I don't think I've ever gone more in depth on the daily, the 4 hour. Like, I explained every reasoning I have behind why Bitcoin could pump. And we've got a bunch of shorts to get wrecked right now. Looks like we're going to go on a $700 pump throughout the afternoon and just, we're going to take out all this liquidity. So goodbye shorts. Looks like they got a bunch of people to short the market. And it may just be in our favor here throughout the day. So I'm looking for a short squeeze later on to $85,002, maybe even up to $86,000. And I gave you the longs that I have on the bigger time frames. I gave you the long on the smaller time frames. I did lose my first trade. I'm not shying away from that. I lose trades. It happens. I took a shot. It is what it is. Everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Let's take a look if there's anything hot to look at throughout the day as far as alts go. But I can, Helium up a little bit in 24 hours. Onyx coin still interesting. BitTensor. I do like Tau right now. I like Ray right now. I like Orca. I like Render right now. It's showing some signs of life. Hyperliquid is showing signs of possibly swinging. I like PENDLE. I like Soul Layer. Those are the key coins that I'm watching right now. And if anything kind of changes, and so we're looking for PENDLE to get this bounce here. Kind of like Bitcoin. These, red wicks could be really great places to jump on in here for PENDLE. So I'm watching PENDLE. I'm not in the trade right now, but it's definitely something. This coin's in an uptrend. Look at it. Compared to the rest of the market, it's in a beautiful uptrend. We get this bounce, we consolidate, and we make that right shoulder. PENDLE's going to be really attractive to me. I'm going to wait my time, but that's probably going to take about 20, maybe even 30 hours. You're talking 8 to 9 4-hour candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right in here. So thanks for the TA and the positive energy. Much respect. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Everybody, I love you all so much. You are all blessed and amazing people. Each and every one of you has brought so much awesome energy to this live. Just you clicking on and putting your digital energy, connecting your IP to the stream, getting it in or not, what I mean? You're connecting your IP to the internet. And then you're in the stream. But this is changing lives. When you show up and people see a lot, 1,800, 2,000 people, they want to be like, why are people watching this guy? And then more people watch. So you created a beautiful life for me. Sponsorships, lives, all sorts of cool things that happen. I get flown places because of you guys. Like, I'll forever be grateful to my community. I will never abuse the community in which I have received from the Lord. And I'll be so thankful that each and every one of you actually tune in and give a dang here. And I hope that you learned something today. I hope I gave you awesome information, and I hope it changed the way you look at the world. May God bless each and every one of you. May you have a wonderful day. And again, remember, Thursdays are pretty sketchy, specifically after the markets are closing today. But I gave you everything I could for Bitcoin. It's up to you now to make your decision. Either you get in with a stop loss, either you short with a stop loss. I even showed you how to short the market with a hedge. I gave you basically every single which way to trade this market that I think makes the highest probable sense. But again, you get your own science, your education, and you go from there. And so either you short with a stop, you long with a stop, or you leave the trades alone. Don't blame anyone else for your outcome today. May God bless each and every one of you, and thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you on the next live stream. Huge pump for Bitcoin to the upside. Massive pump here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, and they're about to rock these shorts to the upside here. Boom, boom, boom. I'll be in the trading group. We got a lot to go over. Are these shorts about to get rocked? It doesn't stop here on the live stream. We go right into the Discord right now, and we keep it coming. Oh my God, these shorts are getting blasted to the upside. A massive short squeeze seems to be coming. Wouldn't you want to be in the Discord for this? Or when I tune out and you can't be in, man, isn't there FOMO? Go to cryptolifer.com. If you want to pick up where this story left off and be with the best traders in the game, go to cryptolifer.com. I love you all. God bless each and every one of you. Keep your cufflinks on. Keep your ties up. You know what I mean? And keep your pocket squares clean, baby. I love each and every one of you. May God bless you all. I studied all the multimillionaires, the billionaires, the greatest people on the earth that have done the most amazing things for society and their families' generational wealth. And you know, they all had a secret. The secret, you know what it was? This massive short squeeze right now at 84,698. I called it, baby. I called it. We are booming. Dude, the trade is up $200. I got my money back already and more. The king of 8%. 150, 145. It's ripping. You made gains if you're with the lifer. They did not stop us out. You made gains with the lifer. Put a 333 if you made gains on that scalp and you were banging on them to the upside. Let's go. Explosiveness. Let's go. If you're not living with me, man, you're not living with the most highest energy in the game, baby. 84,700. They continue to pump it up to the upside. I told you BOOKMAP was ripping these shorts. Go to cryptolifer.com and keep the party going. You don't want to be left in the dust. You want to be with the lifers, man, day in and day out. 84,790. I want to get out of here. I can't. We finally got what we asked for. Massive pump. Beautiful short squeeze. Liquidity to the upside. I'll teach you liquidity. I'll teach you how to read this market. I'll teach you how to trade like nobody else on YouTube, man. 7 days a week. I got you. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I can't do this without you all. Thank you so much for your most precious asset, which is your time. Thank you. There's no words I could even speak for the gratitude I have for this stream, for God, for my life, my family, and each and every one of you. May you have a blessed day. May you walk with your head high. May you do something amazing. And may I leave you with this, the secret to success. I know number one secret to success. It is a secret. Every single billionaire agrees. Every single multimillionaire, everyone that's done anything great for society. They told me, you know what, Sam, you know what the secret to success is, everybody? You know what it is? Do you know what it is? Most people won't do it because they're afraid, they're stuck, they can't. That's why it's a secret. You know what the secret to success is? It's getting started.
Some people